We look at the hate list for pass catchers, headlined by DJ Moore. Jay, can you believe he only has 2 games this season with 60-plus receiving yards?
It just doesn't seem like Shane Waldron's a great offensive coordinator at this point. I'm sorry, we just don't have much evidence of that. It doesn't seem like they are clicking in the pass game, the strides that Caleb Williams made. Now, the book on this passing game was, all right, are they just lighting up the Panthers and the Jags because they're bad defenses, or is this just an awesome offense now? Well, it looked like they just lit up the 2 of the worst defenses in the NFL. And so DJ Moore is suffering as a result. Even though they are in throw scripts more often, they just haven't been able to manufacture space, touches. I don't think Caleb's playing terribly, but it seems like he's regressed a little bit from that hot stretch. And also, it's the same problem that we had going into the season. You have Rome Odunze and Keenan Allen taking touches from you.
He had a 27-point game in Week 5, just that monster game in Week 5. Take that away, and on the season, DJ Moore is averaging 9.5 fantasy points per game. Single-digit fantasy points for DJ Moore. As I mentioned when I was talking up Odunze, we expect Christian Gonzalez to be on DJ Moore and shadow him for much of the game. The only wide receiver this entire year to score more than 15 fantasy points against Christian Gonzalez is DK Metcalf. And that was on a busted coverage. And so it just feels like it's going to be a long day at the office for DJ Moore. I'm outside my top 25 this week. And by the way, just want to point out that the Washington Commanders needed a secondary help. Christian Gonzalez was there for the taking, and instead Ron Rivera drafted Emmanuel Forbes.
Still a healthy scratch these days, Emmanuel Forbes?
I mean, we got Marshawn Lattimore, but we wouldn't have had to draft Marshawn. We wouldn't have to give up the picks for Marshawn Lattimore if Ron Rivera had just done what everyone else in football was screaming,
Literally.
Take Christian Gonzalez.
Okay.
It's not like this is not like hindsight. This is not 2020 hindsight, Jay Croucher. Everyone in the universe was like, Christian Gonzalez is ridiculous. He shouldn't have dropped this far. He's there for the taking. You guys have a desperate need at secondary. Draft Christian Gonzalez.
Okay.
And instead he drafted Emmanuel Forbes.
But if you had Christian Gonzalez instead of Emmanuel Forbes, you wouldn't have got the number 2 pick and you wouldn't have Jaden Daniels. So Ron Rivera was playing the long game, even though it got him fired.
Something to think about.
It worked out well for you in the end. It was a
did.
net positive.
Bottoming out was needed.
Yeah.
Bottoming out was 100% needed because, if he'd won 2 more games, maybe they keep Rivera. I don't know.
Ron Rivera was the tank commander you needed,
It
not the
worked
one
out
you
in the
wanted.
end. You should be celebrating the terrible pick.
Yeah.
That's a
It
good
got
point.
you Jaden
I have
Daniels.
to think about that. I have to think about that.
The Rivera statue
would they
is
have
in
won
play.
one more game? Would they have won at least one more game with
I think
Christian
so.
Gonzalez?
Yeah. Maybe not, but it would have been close.
I think they would have.
Yeah. He's good, Christian Gonzalez.
All right.
Anyway,
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin
He's on the
Harrison
hate
Jr.
list.
He's
Speaking
playing
of
the Jets. He's
wide
playing the Jets.
Yep.
And he can't. He's got one
can't.
game since week 4 with over 50 receiving yards. They're just not on the same page with Kyler.
No, it's been bad. It's been disappointing.
It's
not a talent issue.
No.
So
It's been upsetting.
wide receiver 25 for you in a week full of bye weeks.
No team allows fewer fantasy points to opposing wide receivers than your New York Football Jets. Wan'Dale Robinson very quietly has not become he used to be a PPR merchant, no longer. Back-to-back games now with below a 16% target share. He had only one game in weeks 1 through 7 where he went below that number as well. But feels like the emergence of Theo Johnson, Darius Slayton's had some nice games, Malik Neighbors, of course, coming back. In the 3 games since Neighbors returned from his concussion, Wan'Dale Robinson averaging under 7 fantasy points per game. And, and if he's not getting the ball, because he doesn't get a ton of yardage. So Wan'Dale Robinson needs a lot of volume to get there, and I just don't see him getting a lot of volume. He's outside my top 40, even though he's playing the Panthers.
Our last one here, Jay, Sam LaPorta. What a disappointing fantasy season it's been for him, despite the Lions being an absolute powerhouse. Houston has allowed the fewest fantasy points, receptions, and yards to tight ends this season.
Yeah, Sam LaPorta's too inconsistent. You're probably still going to have to start Sam LaPorta if you drafted him as a tight end 1, but I would just be hoping more than expecting great things at this point.
Yeah, Hunter Henry in week 6 had 41 yards against the Texans. That's literally the only tight end to have more than 35 yards against this Houston defense. And LaPorta, it's just been so inconsistent, and they get Jameson Williams back. There's just a lot of mouths to feed on that Lions offense that wants to run the ball. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.